This is how to get anything you want. The mirror principle. The mirror principle tells us that reality is like a mirror. You have an image and you have a reflection. What happens is that you cannot change the reflection. You need to just change the image, right? I can't change the reflection. I need to change what I'm putting in front of the mirror. The image is your life. I'm sorry, the reflection is your life, and the image is your mind. Whatever your mind thinks is what's going to be reflected into your life. Now, I cannot change my life within the reflection, right? That's like me looking at myself in the mirror and seeing that I have a stain and clean the mirror. And the stain is still there, and I clean the mirror and the stain is still there. The stain is not going to go, because what I need to change is the image. I need to change the image. To change the image in life, basically in our reality, the image is our mind. I cannot change my life if I don't change my mind. My mind is what's projecting, is what's being reflected into my life. Now, how do we change the mind? Well, in order to change the mind, we need to understand how the human mind works. The human mind has 3 levels that coincide with the 3 dimensions. We have the 3D, which is our conscious mind. Then we have the 4D, that is the subconscious mind. And then we have the 5D, which is the quantum field, the field of possibilities, God, the source, however you want to call it. This is high, high, high energy. In our 3D, our conscious mind, that's everything we can see with our 5 senses, right? This is what we see as our life. What happens is that our life, like we said, is a reflection of what? Of that image. The image is in our subconscious mind. Whatever is in our subconscious mind is what's becoming our life. Here in the subconscious mind is our core beliefs are. Our core beliefs have been created since we were born. Everything we watched, everything we observed, everything we heard from our parents, teachers, friends becomes our core beliefs. Maybe we heard, oh, if you do that, you're going to get sick. Or your mom and your grandma had this illness, so you're going to get it too. Becomes a core belief. Our core beliefs become our life. Now, what happens is that in the 5D, in the quantum field, this is the field of possibilities. Everything exists at the same time, all at once. You have the you sick, the you healthy, the you in a loving relationship, the you in a toxic relationship, the you poor, the you wealthy, etc. All of these possibilities, like we said, exist at the same time in the quantum field, but they exist in the form of frequency, like a wave, in the form of energy. Think of water. You have water, and when you give it enough energy, high energy, high heat, it becomes vapor. Vapor, you cannot see it, but it's there. So how does this frequency become reality, become our 3D? It becomes particle by being densified. By being densified, it becomes particle, and then we can see it with our conscious awareness. So what happens is that we are choosing from the field of possibilities, but we're choosing from our image, from our core, from our subconscious, from our core beliefs, which means that our core beliefs are attracting like a magnet. They are attracting one of these possibilities, and that is what's becoming our life. All right? This choice is, again, subconscious. So I can say that I want money, that I want to be wealthy as much as I want. But if unconsciously I think that I am not worthy, or that money creates problems, or that only bad people have money, then from my core beliefs, I am going to be choosing the me poor. And that's what I'm going to think, feel, and act like a poor person. And that is what's going to become my reality. If you want to know what your core beliefs are, simply look at your life. Your life is a reflection of your core beliefs. Look at your bank account. That's going to be a reflection of your beliefs about money. Look at your love life. That's a reflection about your core beliefs about love, and etc. Now, if you want to change what you are attracting, what you need to do is begin to densify another of these possibilities. You choose. First of all, choose. You need to be certain. You need to know exactly what you want, how you want to feel. From that, you're going to choose, okay, I want to be rich. So what you're going to do is you're going to change your beliefs about money. You're going to start thinking, acting, and behaving like a person who is rich. And that's what you're going to attract. Remember, emotions are the fuel to be able to bring this into the 3D. So stop, if you want to stop being poor, what you're going to stop, you're going to stop thinking, acting, behaving, and feeling like a poor person. Because you want money, not because you want the paper or the number in your bank account. You want money because it's going to make you feel what? Free, happy, abundant, grateful. All right. Begin to feel that way now. Once you feel that way now, that is going to be the image in your subconscious mind. And that is what you're going to attract. And that is what you're going to see in your material life. So you want to change what you see, you need to change the way you feel, think, and act. What happens is that sometimes people, we go back to the mirror. Sometimes people don't like what they see here because they are whatever, poor, right? And then they get upset because they are like, money is not coming, money is not coming, money is not coming. If I think money is not coming, what I am going to reflect is money is not coming, and money will never come. If I begin to feel abundant, no matter what I look in my reality, because I know that this is dead, this is only a reflection of this. This is only a reflection of the image. So I need to stop looking at my reality to determine how I feel. Because if I look at my bank account and I'm poor, so I feel poor, I continue to create the same reality where I'm poor. So I need to not look at it and understand that this is a result of my past beliefs. If I change how I feel now, this is going to change. Remember, the reflection is like a mirror, but it always comes with delay. So do not let your current reality, your current reflection determine how you feel. You need to change how you feel for the reality to change. If you continue to feel according to what you see in your reality, the reality you will not change. Remember, you cannot change your conditions right now, but you can change your thoughts, your image. And your image is what's going to determine your future conditions.
The biggest lie we were ever told, and I believed myself, is that money responds to effort. It responds to hard work. That's not true. And I learned this recently. Money responds simply to emotions. It responds to energy. That's it. Your bank account right now is not a reflection of your income. It's a reflection of your frequency. If you believe that you're stuck, your bank account is also stuck. The reason why money is called currency is because it needs to flow. When it's flowing, you're making money. When it's not flowing, you're stuck. And if you're stuck, your money is. To make money, you need rituals every single day. And I don't mean woo-woo voodoo stuff. I mean rituals, things that you do every day that sends a signal to the universe, to God, that you're open to money. You're not afraid of money. And here are 3 things that I do almost daily when I feel like I'm stuck financially. Let's do it. Hi, my name is Nike. Not Nike. Let's do it. I want to warn you, these rituals work really fast. So if you don't like money, you can scroll off. 1 is the circulation spell. That's what I call it for myself. Whenever I feel like I want a large amount of money coming in, I want to circulate my money. I say this all the time. Money that doesn't flow will get stuck. It needs to flow. Do this. I give a small amount of money away. You can do it anonymously. What I tend to do is I would just walk to like a 7-Eleven or a gas station and I will give like a $20 to a homeless guy or leave it in a tip jar. If you go to church, you want to make sure you pay your, your 10% in churches. If you go to mosque, donate to your mosque. Pay for the coffee of the person behind you. Sometimes if I'm getting gas, I will pay for the person who's getting gas behind me. And it almost happened. I think the world is just so transactional that it almost happened instantaneously. Like, I will give $5 away or $20 away or pay for someone's coffee or pay for gas of someone behind me, and within 10 minutes money would just money would just show up. It would just simply show up. As I'm exchanging the money, I'm giving money to someone for free or paying for gas, I always say, this proves to me that I trust the universe, that I trust God, that I trust the flow, and that I believe that I'm the source. So whatever I just gave to this person, it will come back to me multiplied, and it works. 2, I call it the receipt ritual. And what do? Most people spend money and then they get the receipt and they feel shame, they feel fear. Whenever I buy something that I really like and I felt joyful when I bought it, like the last time I bought my pink Louboutins, I felt really joyful. I take that receipt, I fold it in half, I feel happy, I feel joyful. I fold it in half, and behind it, money returns to me multiplied with ease. I fold it into another a 4-piece. I put it in my wallet and I just let it sit there. And the last but not least ritual that I do is called the overflow ritual. Most people save money begrudgingly. They feel guilty when they're saving money. They're annoyed. What I would do is no matter how much I make, even if I make $20, well, with my African black soap, I'm not really making any money. Even if I make $5, I take $2 out of that $5 when I receive it. I will go get it in cash and I will put it in an envelope that I name overflow envelope. Okay, I will name it overflow envelope and I will just put it in. This is very different from an emergency fund, okay, because it's just cash sitting in an envelope and you just let it build. What you're doing is sending to your subconscious and sending to the universe and sending to God that this isn't my last dollar. I have so much more where that came from, right? Every time you open that envelope and you see the word overflow in it, you're like, oh, there's so much money in the universe. I put the $2 in it, $3 in it. I close the envelope back. You can even use the piggy bank, right? The piggy bank, and put overflow on the piggy bank and then put money in there because it's not your last. You're not saving that money. That money is just there. Like, it's not an emergency fund. It is just sitting. I hope this helps. Money needs to flow in, not through efforts, through resonance. Especially if you're a very feminine woman, you're an abundant being. You don't need to work hard. Hard work is not for women. It's not for feminine women. You just have to believe that there's so much abundance in the world and you're entitled to those abundance. You're strong, you're resilient, you're healthy, and you're wealthy. I believe in you, and I pray you always believe in yourself. Stay fabulous.
I get every single thing I want. Dates with celebrities, a 6-figure salary, 10K followers in a month. I'm living a life beyond my wildest dreams. And I'm not saying any of this to brag. I'm telling this to you because you can do this too. The reason that I get whatever I want is because I am not living in reality. If you were inside of my head, you would be like, is this chick connected to what is going on here on Earth? The answer is no. No, I'm not, and that's why I have the life to show for it. I am constantly bending reality. When my ex-boyfriend and I moved to California 6 years ago, straight out of college, we landed a place right on Santa Monica Beach, 11 streets from the beach. This is one of the most notoriously difficult neighborhoods to, number one, get into, and number two, be that close to the beach. By age 26, I was making 6 figures doing something very niche, writing about my passions, which are beauty and wellness. Reality says that that's not supposed to be possible. Reality says that somebody with a journalism degree, they're pretty much designated to a life of struggling to make ends meet. I manifested an opportunity of freelancing for David Beckham's new wellness company this past year. It came out of nowhere, just like this. I'm constantly defying the odds, and it's because I move through reality as if the rules don't apply to me. I need you to really hear me when I say I'm moving through reality as if the rules don't apply to me. That is the identity from which I am operating from. That is the identity that I exist in. I am the exception to every single rule. Somebody says, oh, you're never gonna meet that person. You're never gonna date a celebrity. I've broken that rule. Society tells us you should only be able to make these linear income jumps. I started out at $42,000 a year as a junior copywriter. I am now making well over 6 figures. I had a childhood filled with all different kinds of abuse. I am now living my dream life in Los Angeles, California. Manifestation is real. The first thing is I do not have any limits on what I believe is possible, and I am insistent about that. I hold on to that vision until it becomes real. This is something that elite athletes do. This is something Steve Jobs do. They ferociously hold on to that idea. They do not listen to anything that the 3D world is echoing to them about how hard that is, about how impossible that is, about how that's not fair, about how people don't skip the line. And that's why their ideas make it into matter. They become matter. Most people take action, they move through this world based on what they can see. This based on what the 3D world is telling them, the conditions, the limits, the possibilities, what is quote unquote realistic. The reason that I bypass all of this is because I treat the unseen as more real than the seen. I'm treating the unseen, everything happening inside of me, in my mind, more real than everything going on out here. This is like essential for you guys to really hear me when I say that. What is happening inside of me is way more important to me, way more real than anything going on outside. Therefore, I act accordingly. I do not wait for proof for anything. My belief forces this world to adjust. My identity forces circumstances to mold to me. Whenever your logic is saying something is not possible, first of all, that's not true. That's a limiting belief. Second of all, your job is to hold the vision even if that is the case. Even if everything is screaming at you that this can't happen, you hold that vision and you hold it with a sense of hopeful expectancy, an open heart. You admit to yourself that this is something you want. Then you move with the assumption that the world will adjust to your energy, not the other way around. I am never seeking permission because I have seen time and time again through empirical evidence that reality adjusts to me. I do not need to adjust to reality. The circumstances mold to me. Reality reflects my inner certainty. And this is something that I feel like you guys can feel too. There's like an aura about me that is conveying to you guys, hey, this is somebody who has lived this, and this is somebody who, wherever she is on her journey, it's not the end. You guys can feel from me that my manifestations are going to continue coming in because of who I am. But who I am is not who I was born with. I built this identity, brick by brick, thought by thought, insistent belief upon insistent belief, choice after choice. So many of us, when we're starting out, we feel like reality is fixed, but it's not. Reality is so flexible. This is why living in Delulu land is the shortcut to your dream life. If you guys were in my head, you would be like, oh, sorry, what's going on? Even for TikTok, this 1 month result, this happened because for months before I created this account, literally months, I was walking around feeling like, oh my God, what would it feel like to be able to actually bring everything I've learned about manifestation, share it with the world, and have it resonate? What would it feel like to know that I had something to say and that there was an audience here who was wanting to listen? What would it feel like to find a community of people who understood me in a way that my 3D world didn't? All of those earthbound people. What would it feel like to have a whole cohort of community members who are all about mindset, manifestation, positivity? I walked around inundating myself with the feeling of, what would it feel like to have a platform? What would it feel like to actually be building something that was directly tied to my passion? What would it feel like to be listened to be heard? Not only heard, but somebody who was sought after for their insights. I need you to really think about what I'm saying, because if you guys grasp this, your entire reality can change. This is your reality. You make the rules, you make the meaning, and you are the director, the writer, and you can edit your story at any time. I went through a bad breakup last year, about 9-10 months ago. It was a horrible breakup. I decided this is not a breakup. This is my motherfucking breakthrough. This is gonna quantum leap into my next level up. I'm gonna level up so hard, I won't even remember who this guy is. I blocked him, I never looked back, look what's happened. I am so delusional that literally on my Hinge bio, you know how they have different prompts? Like there was one that's like, what's your secret talent? And I literally put aging in reverse. Was that true at the time? Hell no. Is it gonna be true? Hell yeah. And you guys will be able to see I'm manifesting that for the next several years. You guys are gonna be like, oh my God, you're just looking better and better. And it's because I made the decision that I am somebody who's gonna age in reverse. As I get older, I'm only gonna get more beautiful, more successful, more wealthy, more hot, queen-like, You can get whatever you want. Just detach from reality.